Welcome to the Manassas Regional Airport Driver's Training Instructional Course. The purpose of this course is to ensure that those operating vehicles on the airport are properly trained to do so safely and in accordance with the airport's rules and regulations. Upon completion of the training course, you will be provided a link to the online driver's training test. Those receiving a passing score will be forwarded to an online gate card application. Those not receiving a passing score must retake the test within a 48-hour period. The speed limit for all vehicles operating on the airport is 15 miles per hour. Scooters, bicycles, and strollers are not allowed inside the airport. All vehicles operating on the airport should have a window cracked down to assist in hearing. All headlights, taillights, turn signals, brake lights, and hazard lights must be fully operational. Vehicles must be maintained in generally sound mechanical condition to prevent breakdowns and excessive leaking of fluids. The airport is responsible for environmental compliance. It is a requirement that spills are reported to the appropriate agencies. Report any spills of any kind to airport operations at 703-257-8270. Vehicles shall maintain a safe operating distance unless directly involved in servicing or responding to an aircraft emergency. Do not proceed behind an aircraft. Aircraft cockpit windows are designed for pilots to see other aircraft. It can be difficult or impossible for the flight crew of a large aircraft to see vehicles, particularly behind the wings. Vehicles should yield to all aircraft. At night, display your front and back tail lights and keep your headlights on low beam. Allow yourself extra time and drive slower than normal. All drivers will display extra courtesy to taxiing aircraft by angling their vehicles so that the headlight beams do not directly impact cockpit areas. When driving in inclement weather, be extra cautious about your surroundings. Drive at a reduced speed and give yourself plenty of time to get to your destination. All vehicles operating on the movement area must be radio-equipped or be escorted by a radio-equipped vehicle. Prior permission is required from the airport in order to operate on movement areas. International standards require that the English language, spoken in a clear and concise voice, is the only authorized language for operating on airfields. If you do not understand a transmission from the tower, stop, hold your position, and ask the tower to repeat their last transmission. If the tower controllers cannot understand your request, they will ask you to report to airport operations for an escort. Airport operations can be reached at 703-257-8270. The Air Traffic Control Tower opens at 6:30 a.m. and closes at 10:30 p.m. daily. During the hours of 6:30 a.m. to 10:30 p.m., use the frequency 121.80 to communicate with ground control. The Common Traffic Advisory Frequency, CTAF, the frequency used for air-to-air communication, is 133.10. Vehicles should self-announce their intentions when operating on 133.10. Utilize proper radio terminology. Study this material to ensure you know it completely. Acknowledge you have received and understand the message. Advise intentions. Tell me what you plan to do. Affirmative. Yes. Confirm. Is that correct? Correction. An error has been made in the transmission. The correct version follows. Go ahead. Proceed with message. Hold. Stop where you are. Hold short of. Proceed to, but hold short of a specific point. Negative. No, permission not granted, or that is not correct. Proceed. Authorization to begin or continue. Read back. Repeat the message back. Roger. I have received all of your last transmission. This is not an answer to a yes or no question. Say again. Repeat what you just said. When operating on the airfield, use clear, concise, and correct phraseology. Speak clearly, distinctly, and know exactly what you want to say. If you did not understand what the controller said, do not move and request the controller to repeat their instructions. 4 steps to correct phraseology. 1. Identify who you're calling and who you are. 2. Wait for the tower to respond. 3. State your request and your position. 4. After receiving instructions, repeat back exactly what the tower authorized you to do. If an air traffic controller directs you to do something that you believe is unsafe, ask the controller to repeat instruction or give clarification before proceeding. If radio contact is lost, the tower may resort to using light gun signals to communicate. These signals are similar to lights that you would see on a traffic light. For example, a steady red light is a signal to stop, whereas a steady green light is a signal to go, or it is okay to cross a runway or taxiway. Other light gun signals include a flashing red light, clear the taxiway or runway immediately, a flashing white light, return to starting point on airport, an alternating red and green light, exercise extreme caution, followed by another light signal as the circumstances permit. All airports are divided into 2 basic areas, movement areas and non-movement areas. The dividing line between a movement/non-movement area is indicated by a solid yellow line next to a broken yellow line. Movement areas are specifically designed for the movement of aircraft under the guidance of the Air Traffic Control Tower. To enter that movement area, you must have permission from the Air Traffic Control Tower. An example of movement areas include runways, taxiways, and safety areas. Taxiway signs use yellow letters or letter number combinations for designators. Taxiways are used by aircraft to get to and from the ramp and the runway. Taxiway edge markings are single yellow solid line and/or blue lights which help differentiate them from runways. Authorization is required for use. Runways are marked with white numbers at each end, white stripes down the middle, and white lines on the edges. Lighting is an important indicator on a runway. Runways are edged with white lights. 2-sided lights, amber and white, may be used near the ends of a runway. At the end of the runway, you may see runway threshold lights, 2-sided red and green lights. If you see amber or red lights, you may be approaching the end of the runway. Runway incursions are defined as any occurrence at an aerodrome involving the incorrect presence of an aircraft, vehicle, or person on the protected area of a surface designated for the landing and takeoff of aircraft. Runways are meant for aircraft use. Never drive a vehicle on it unless you are properly trained and authorized to do so. Should there be a need to cross the runway, do so at its ends or as instructed by air traffic control. Hold short lines are located at the end of a taxiway as it meets the runway. It is designated by double yellow solid lines followed by double yellow broken lines. It may also be marked with a runway holding position sign with a runway number. Hold short position signs are red with white lettering. You must always have permission from air traffic control prior to crossing the hold short line from the solid line side. Direction signs are yellow with black letters. They tell you where you want to go. Location signs are black with yellow letters and yellow borders. They indicate taxiway location, runway location, or the runway boundary. They tell you where you are. Non-movement areas are all other areas of the airport not under the control of the Air Traffic Control Tower. Examples of non-movement areas include hangar driveways, aircraft parking ramps, perimeter roads, service roads, and taxi lanes. Aircraft have the right-of-way on a taxi lane. Taxi lanes are not meant for vehicle convenience. Drivers should never drive immediately behind an aircraft. If you witness an aircraft accident, contact 911, notify airport operations, stay clear of the scene and movement areas. When entering through an airport gate, stop and allow the gate to close completely behind you before proceeding. If a gate fails to close, contact the airport operations before leaving the gate. Only one vehicle is allowed to pass through an open gate at a time. Report any vehicle or pedestrian gate malfunction, breaks in perimeter fencing, or other secured areas to airport operations 703-257-8270. If you witness anything suspicious, call 911 and airport operations. Foreign object debris, or FOD, can ruin an aircraft engine and even destroy the aircraft. Anything that doesn't belong on the paved airfield is considered FOD. Rocks, tools, paper, even dead animals and birds. If you are able to, pick up FOD from pavement areas. Upon passing this course, you may apply for a gate card. A valid driver's license must be presented. Gate cards are valid for 2 years. The replacement fee for a lost, broken, or stolen gate card is $35. The fee may be waived with a copy of a police report. Drivers operating on the airport must have an airport badge and a valid driver's license, issued by a recognized state or municipal agency, on them at all times. Individuals with a gate card may escort visitors aboard the airport. Escorts are responsible for the actions of their visitors while on the airport. Visitors must always be under sight and voice control. This concludes our airport training session. Please proceed to the online driver's training test using the link provided below. Upon passing the test, you will be forwarded to the gate card application. The application will provide additional instruction regarding submitting your application and receiving your gate card.